Good morning, students. Today we are going to start another very important chapter of plant physiology, that is respiration. In this particular chapter we will study about the process of respiration, how the process of respiration occur in plant, and why there is a need of respiration for plants. Respiration or cellular respiration is the mechanism of breakdown of food material within the cell to release energy and the trapping of this energy for the synthesis of ATP. The energy is released slowly in a stepwise series of reactions which are catalyzed by the enzyme. So here in this particular reaction, enzymes are the catalyst, and this particular process of cellular respiration takes place in the cell organelle known as mitochondria. Now the question is, do plant breathe? And the answer for this question is yes. Plants are also the living organism, and the characteristic of the living organism is respiration, or they breathe. So that is why the plant also breathe. They also require oxygen for the process of respiration, and they also exhale carbon dioxide during the process of respiration. When we talk about animals have a specialized organ like lungs, trachea for the process, alveoli for the process of respiration, but unlike animals, plant does not have any specialized organ for the process of gaseous exchange, but they have stomata and lenticel for this purpose. All the green parts of the plant, especially the leaf, have stomata for the process of respiration, and the woody or brown part of the plant, usually the stems of or the bark of trees, have small pores known as lenticels which help in the process of respiration. There are several reasons why plant can get along without the respiratory organ. Each and every part of the plant take care of its own gaseous exchange needs, and there is a very little transport of gases from one part of the plant to another. Plants do not have great demands for gaseous exchange. The rate of respiration is far lower than that of animals. Roots, stem and leaves respire at rates far lower than the animals do. The distance for which the gases diffuse even in large bulky plant is not great, as living cells in a plant are located quite close to the surface of the plant. And also when cell photosynthesize, availability of the oxygen is not a problem, as oxygen is released within the cell itself by the process known as photosynthesis. Glucose is the most favored respiratory substrate in the process of cellular respiration. In first step, the process of glycolysis takes place. Glycolysis is basically the breakdown of glucose into pyruvic acid. The second step of cellular respiration depends upon whether the oxygen is present or not. If there is no oxygen or oxygen is absent, then the process of anaerobic respiration takes place, under which the fermentation takes place. Fermentation is incomplete oxidation of food material. But if the oxygen is present, then in the presence of oxygen, oxidative respiration takes place under the category of aerobic respiration. First of all, we will study about the oxidative respiration, or generally known as aerobic respiration, which occur in the presence of oxygen. Pyruvic acid, which is formed after the first step of glycolysis, get transported from the cytoplasm into the mitochondria. The events that take place in aerobic respiration are: number 1, the complete oxidation of pyruvic acid by the stepwise removal of all the hydrogen atom with the release of 3 molecules of carbon dioxide. In the second step, the transfer of electrons removed as part of the hydrogen atom to molecular oxygen along with the synthesis of ATP molecule. The first step of the process takes place in the mitochondrial matrix, while the second step takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondria, that is electron transport particle oxysomes. Fermentation. This is anaerobic respiration. Fermentation usually occurs in the absence of oxygen. In bacteria and many other unicellular organisms like yeast. It also occurs in the muscle under vigorous exercise. In fermentation, there is incomplete oxidation of glucose under anaerobic conditions by a set of reactions where pyruvic acid gets converted either into alcohol or into lactic acid. In the first type of fermentation, which is known as alcohol fermentation, which usually occurs in yeast, the pyruvic acid gets converted into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. But in the second type of fermentation, that is lactic acid fermentation, the pyruvic acid gets converted into lactic acid, which usually occurs in muscles of the human being. Only 7% of the energy is released in the process of fermentation, that is 2 molecules of ATP are formed in the process of fermentation or anaerobic respiration, that is very less as compared to the oxidative respiration.